Right now at noon, how a change in funding is impacting the Carthage Humane Society.
And the snow gradually coming to an end around the area. We'll take a look at road conditions and the forecast heading into the weekend coming up.
Plus, we look at the potential danger of ice melt chemicals.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, it's certainly a beautiful sight to see outside today as the 4 states has turned into a winter wonderland. However, if you must be out, be careful. Snow could still be covering parts of the area and many roads are expected to be slick and hazardous. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. Let's head over to Chris Warner for more.
Yeah, we've been keeping an eye on road conditions since early this morning. Of course, they were in pretty rough shape this morning. Looking better now, though. This is our camera. Downtown Joplin on top of the Cornell complex. Again, when it snows, we like to point it down. Now you can see 7th Street's looking pretty good. You see all that shiny stuff out there? There's going to be an opportunity for some refreezing overnight tonight. So a few more slick spots heading tomorrow. Plus, we still have some slushy spots here and there. But boy, this morning we were watching, I don't know how many near accidents. We saw just a number of folks driving a little too fast. You still want to go slow because even though the roads look clear, they're still going to be a bit slick. I mean, you see how shiny they are. These are MoDOT cameras along I-44 around the area. Now, this one is pointed south along 43 from I-44, but otherwise, a lot of progress made. It's looking, again, a lot better out there. And the snow itself is pretty well gone from the Skywatch storm tracker. As a matter of fact, we only have winter weather advisories here and winter storm warnings still in effect for Berry and Lawrence counties. And that's it. They've all been slowly dropping off as this snow has continued to exit from the area. So that is some good news. I know we love the snow. Doug loves the snow. My kids love the snow. It does look beautiful, but it's nice that it has stopped for right now. 19 is where we started yesterday. 35 is where we made it. We had some improvements out there. See at 31 in Joplin, 32 in Pittsburgh right now, and across the region, temperatures not too bad. We're holding on to the low 30s for most of us. However, we're getting that gusty north wind, and so it's putting our wind chills in some locations back into the low 20s, but many of us, our wind chills are just a few degrees off of what our current temperature is. Through the rest of the evening, we're going to have partly to mostly cloudy skies out there, falling back eventually into the low 20s and upper teens. And our winds will begin shifting overnight as well, transferring out of the southwest. So we're going to drive in a few minor changes as we head into the weekend. We'll break down these road conditions, take one more look out there for you for your lunch hour commute. And, of course, a full look at your forecast. All that coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, some vehicles around our area ran into some dangerous road conditions this morning as the snow continued to push its way through. Here's a look at some areas of the 4 states this morning from KOAM's Shannon Becker. Several accidents occurred during the morning as plows worked hard to clear streets and highways. You can find more information on these crashes and traffic reports on KOAMnewsnow.com. And if you must be out, you can get the latest road conditions and power outages across the area anytime through this QR code. Now it'll direct you to links on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, for that information for each of the 4 states in our viewing area. And as we're dealing with another round of wintry weather, many people will use ice melt to help clear their outdoor walkways. But as Nicolette Zangara explains, those chemicals could do some damage as well.
While ice melting salt gets rid of the ice, it can also rid your plants of their health.
It can have impacts on your plants, and since we all like our trees and plants, you don't want to do anything to hurt them. Same time, you don't want to do anything that'll make you slip and fall on the ice either.
The impact might not be noticeable until the next growing season. Symptoms include discoloration, lack of foliage, or stunted growth. However, the Missouri Department of Conservation says you can practice safety for yourself and your green space by using ice melting salt sparingly.
A little bit of ice melt or rock salt, whatever you use, goes a long way. If you put a lot of it down, it's kind of a bad thing in 2 counts. Number 1, you are causing some environmental damage, but number 2, you're also hurting your budget. Obviously, the more you put down, the less you'll have for the next ice episode.
Eco-friendly ice melting salt can be found at the store, but here's another option that doesn't hurt nearby plants. Kitty litter or sand will provide enough traction on an icy surface to safely walk across, but it won't melt the ice itself. and make sure the ice melting salt is made for the surface you're treating. If it's not, Jeff Dodson with Northwood Public Schools says it's not a pretty sight.
We used a particular ice melt that was supposed to be okay for concrete use. It didn't create issues throughout the entire pour or the entire pad itself, but where the water tended to congregate or where it would pool, we had some issues where the thin layer at the top of the concrete popped or came off, and it certainly aesthetically is not as nice as it was when the project was completed.
Now, if you notice your plant showing symptoms of contamination, you may have to apply gypsum to save them. Well, the city of Joplin held a meeting to answer questions from residents about the relaunch of the Sunshine Lamp Trolley. Now, they expect the trolley to be up and running by the first week of February, and they're proposing a $2 general fare and a $1 discounted fare. The new buses are smaller and will seat 12 to 14 people. The Joplin Schools Board of Education announces its approval for the first phase of upcoming projects. Now, these projects are geared toward educational suitability, intensive programs, and early childhood expansion. The committee plans to present their final longer-term recommendations to the board in June. And the Carthage Humane Society informed the city of Carthage this week that it is terminating its contract with the city. Now, this cuts off city funding to the shelter and means the city can't surrender animals to the Humane Society without paying a $200 fee per animal. This comes after months-long discussions regarding funding concerns and the number of animals being turned into the shelter. According to the Humane Society, in 2024, the city of Carthage paid the society roughly $49,000, while their operating cost exceeded $570,000.
We have to take care of the animals and we have to try to find them loving homes. That's it. That's why we're here. That's what we want to do. It's not to make a profit. It's not to, punish the city. It's none of those things. That's not what we want. We just want to be able to take care of the animals.
The mayor of Carthage says the termination was unexpected and that there has been recent discussions about increasing funding. Well, coming up, President-elect Donald Trump appears virtually in a Manhattan courtroom to be formally sentenced in the New York hush money case. And later, we're making what do you call them bars in the Mr. Food test kitchen. Well, a house fire claims the life of a Pittsburgh resident. Fire crews responded to the fire on West 21st Street shortly after 6 yesterday morning. They got there and confirmed with police that 2 people were involved. EMS took 1 person to Mercy Hospital. The other resident died at the scene. Officials are not releasing the name until they contact next of kin. They're investigating what caused the fire. President-elect Donald Trump was formally sentenced today in the hush money case in New York. He was given an unconditional discharge and will not face any punishment. Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
In a historic courtroom moment, President-elect Donald Trump appeared virtually before a New York judge to be sentenced as a convicted felon.
Never before has this court been presented with such a unique and remarkable set of circumstances.
In the brief proceeding, Judge Juan Merchan gave Trump an unconditional discharge. Trump will have a criminal record, but will not face prison time or probation. The president-elect, who was with his attorney at his Mar-a-Lago home, listened via video link. Before the judge announced his decision, Trump spoke to the court.
But the fact is that I'm totally innocent. I did nothing wrong.
Trump had faced up to 4 years in prison for the conviction, but prosecutors agreed to the unconditional discharge after Trump's presidential win. The sentence comes little more than a week before his inauguration.
This is the proverbial slap on the wrist. It is symbolic. It is an acknowledgement that there was a conviction, and it is essentially no more.
A Manhattan jury convicted Trump in May 2024 on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. Prosecutors said he had attempted to cover up a $130,000 hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. Trump and his attorneys have vowed to appeal, a process that could play out while he is in the White House. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Candy bar, chocolate bar, or even sweet treat. Well, whatever you call them, they're downright tasty and almost addictive.
And as the snow comes to a close around the area, some folks probably want to know, when is it going to get a little warmer? Well, we'll have all the answers to your forecast questions right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. So we got some snow, and I mean some actual snow that you can enjoy and play in. And the temperatures, yeah, they're cold, but they're comfortably cold, if that makes sense. You can put on a jacket, hat, gloves, and you're still not going to be freezing to death, which means the kids might be able to go out and actually enjoy this snow. Let's talk about some road conditions for the lunch hour, because I know there's still plenty of folks, that still have to get to work, have things that they've got to do today. And I told you this morning, and hopefully some of you were listening when I said, do not go out right now. Let the road crews do their thing, and you can go out later today or even this weekend. And the road crews have done their thing. And take a look. It's all right. Now, there's still going to be slick spots. There's still wet spots. There's going to be some slush out there, which you can actually see quite well right here, say in this right turn lane, coming off of Joplin on the 7th Street. See that slush down there? You're going to want to watch out for that. It's going to be a little slick during the daytime, and overnight, some of that could refreeze. So if you're traveling late this evening or early tomorrow, it's just you want to keep it in mind. But it's not going to be nearly as hectic as it was this morning. This is the MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. Again, looking great. Now, the thing is, too, is you want to watch out in the center of the roads, down those center turn lanes or the double stripes, and right along the lines themselves, especially at intersections in lanes that aren't commonly used or aren't used as often. You want to watch out for the slush and that buildup. You can see there's some of it right here. That guy just kind of splashed through some. See all this wet stuff out here? Some of that will refreeze. And so again, like I said, it's really going to be a thing of just a few slick spots here and there. In fact, I think KDOT has it right on. Roads may be icy in spots. Use caution. That's what that sign says, and that is exactly what you need to do. In fact, since we came on the air, remember I mentioned the winter weather advisories? They're already gone. They dumped out during the show. All we have left is a winter storm warning for Berry and Lawrence County, and I imagine that's going to be gone before too much longer as well, as this is all starting to clear out. So here's what we've got. We have what KDOT calls wet pavement. That's the green. That's what you just saw. That's what you're seeing in most locations now, is that wet pavement. It can still be slick. It could still refreeze in spots, but otherwise the snow itself is looking pretty good. Now we're still looking covered around Mound City, north of Fort Scott, and that is including parts of 69. And we still have some covered or partially covered roadways as we get a little further south. 166. As you're heading out west and south of Columbus on 69. And we still have some of that to deal with. On the Missouri side, again, in our region, starting to look better. We're seeing a few more of these clear. We're seeing a number partially covered, a lot of clear around the Joplin Metro, and we showed you on the different MoDOT cameras how clear things are looking. 49, 44, still some partially covered and clear spots out there. So again, we're looking a lot better. As the snow, again, it's on its way out. It's pretty well done. That's that last band from this morning. It's kind of dying out. A few flurries here and there, not out of the question. As we go through the afternoon, we get these mostly cloudy skies out there. We could lead to, like I said, just maybe a snow shower or something, but nothing crazy, nothing accumulating as we head through the rest of the afternoon. Into Saturday, we start mostly cloudy. Overnight tonight, winds shift out of the south, and they'll start gusting tomorrow, making us a little warmer, and skies will gradually clear on our Saturday. For today, though, still looking at the low to mid-30s out there, north winds gusting to about 20. Tonight, mostly cloudy, upper teens, low 20s, southwest winds 5 to 10. And as I mentioned on Saturday, skies gradually clearing as we head into the afternoon. South winds gusting to 35, upper 30s, low 40s for highs. Could see a couple of stray flurries on Sunday, a little colder Monday. And then as we head into next week, not looking too shabby. Look at that, maybe even above normal by the end of next week, with another system with maybe a few light rain showers or some wintry precipitation.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Chris. I'll stick around. We're making what do you call 'em bars in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Well, if you're looking for a sweet treat to finish out the week, today's Mr. Food recipe is perfect for you. Howard is making what do you call 'em bars in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
I'd like to share something with everyone that I recently discovered after looking over your recipe requests. You all love your sweets, and I don't blame you. So do I. And if homemade candy is on the top of that list, then you're going to love the ooey gooey candy bars we're making today. We begin by melting some butter in a soup pot along with a package of marshmallows just until they're melted. We take this off the heat and stir in a good amount of peanut butter crunch cereal. After placing this in a baking dish, we melt some more butter in a saucepan and add equal amounts of sweetened condensed milk and corn syrup, some brown sugar, and a splash of vanilla. Once this thickens up, we pour it over the cereal mixture, and after it sets, which takes about 15 minutes, we'll top it off with some chocolate that we've melted in the microwave. Once the chocolate firms up, it's ready to cut into bars. After trying a bunch of these, our test kitchen team thought these were even better than any candy bar that you can buy at the checkout line. If you want to try these, all you have to do is go to our website and look for, what do you call them bars? I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a simply delicious way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, again, snow coming to an end. Gusty north winds today, gusty south winds tomorrow, a little warmer. A few flurries Sunday, cooler on Monday. Temperatures maybe even above average toward the end of next week, with another system bringing some rain and maybe a little bit of a wintry mix by next weekend.
Thanks, Chris. And coming up tonight at 5, the highest court in the land will decide the fate of TikTok. The Supreme Court agreed to expedite the video sharing platform's First Amendment case. Plus, with hazardous winter road conditions today, we'll go over some car safety tips to keep in mind this winter. And we'll visit with kids in the 4 states enjoying some fun during today's snow day. You can join us for those stories and more on KOAM News at 5. Lots to look forward to for sure.
Absolutely. And of course, watch out for those slick spots, the slushy spots today and tonight. You don't want to all crazy like we saw this morning.
Right. Yes.
That was wild. There's some folks that were not driving safely, so hopefully you are driving safely.
Absolutely. Well, that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. Have a great rest of your day.